debates. One high-profile debate that comes to mind is the series of debates between the civil rights leader James Farmer and Malcolm X.
If a dark-skinned Puerto Rican went down to Mississippi, he probably would be lynched too.
Spanish, he wouldn't be lynched.
These were a series of disagreements between people who were ostensibly on the same side, whose objectives were, in some sense, allied, but they were not shy about voicing their disagreements in really candid, strong, full-throated ways in the view of the public, knowing that the other side would respond respectfully, that they would be candid about the disagreements, and through that conversation, that they would be able to get somewhere they couldn't on their own. There are three lessons that I take away from the Farmer-Malcolm X debates. The first is the importance of training. In order for us to be able to host the kinds of public debates again that enlarges our understanding of what's possible, we have to start training. And we have to start training our young people. We have to train ourselves to be able to engage in those conversations. The second is the importance of format. It's striking how long they were given to make their points. Often, they would be given quite a long stretch of time to present their arguments with the knowledge that once they had spoken, the other person would speak and they would get another turn. The third thing that you see in those debates is the importance of having a relationship with the person that you're disagreeing with that's greater than just the disagreement itself. By introducing the family to one another, by seeing the other areas of life, by doing other things together, you can often enlarge the possibility of what you do within the debate.
I find myself in so much agreement with Mr. Mondale.
Debates are only as good as the information and the knowledge and the skills that debaters bring to it. One of the more concerning things that we see at the moment is people's information diets not being sufficiently varied, not being sufficiently rich to sustain the kinds of conversations that we want to have. We cannot allow the debates that we see on cable television to be a kind of a replacement for the disagreements that we should be having in our day-to-day lives. So our political leaders or our favorite media personalities can't be like avatars to whom we outsource the work of thinking for ourselves and having these conversations for ourselves. And I think in order for us to start building back the skills of good argument, we usually need to do it face-to-face. And we might need to do it in the absence of an audience to start with, so that we resist the urge to perform for an audience, but rather listen and respond to the person across from us. So it may well be that we can one day equip ourselves to engage in a better form of social media, but I tend to think the starting place has to be face-to-face, has to be maybe away from an audience to begin with, so that we're building one interaction at a time the skills that we have lost. The tradition of good argument that I'm trying to advocate for is very much rooted in history. It goes back all the way to antiquity, where in ancient Greece, the ability to make your point persuasively, to engage other citizens in discussion and debate, was seen as a kind of a requirement of citizenship, that it's what it meant for us to govern ourselves. And that developed through tea houses and pubs and coffee houses in London, where while the debates of Parliament were going on, citizens would gather and have the same debates between themselves. That tradition kind of carries forth in the United States with a lot of the founding fathers starting debate clubs in colleges, viewing part of their role as leaders and as founders of a new country as instilling in the nation that spirit of debate. And though that tradition has become harder and harder to discern in our everyday lives, there have been periods in the history of the US and the history of democracies and the history of the world where those debates were a feature of people's day-to-day lives.
In a formal debate, the theme or question is called a motion. The motion is usually controversial and has no clear or correct answer. An example of a motion might be, Everybody should get universal basic income. The two teams will then argue for or against the motion. The party for or in favour of the motion is called the proposition. The party against or opposed to the motion is called the opposition. Each team is usually given equal time to present their argument, which usually includes an introduction, reasons with examples or evidence, and a conclusion. At the end of the debate, a neutral third party, usually a judge or committee, will decide the winner. The winning team is the team that delivers the most cogent, convincing argument. Whether the judge personally agrees with the motion is not relevant to determining the winner. In fact, the teams are typically assigned their position at random, which means they may need to debate in favour of a motion with which they personally disagree. Mental skills necessary to debate also apply to many other aspects of life. The ability to think critically and analyse a problem. The ability to present your thoughts logically and elegantly. The ability to speak confidently in public. And the ability to listen carefully and interpret information quickly are crucial skills for any leader, academic, researcher, or artist. Debating a position you might not personally agree with also helps you to develop empathy and broaden your worldview.